Have you wondered how men are consistently able to trick you into sleeping with them? Does it feel like when you first get to know him, everything is amazing and he's perfect at the very beginning? But as soon as you give yourself to him, all of a sudden, he's a completely different person. This is a really sneaky, secretive trick that the men are using to play you. And it works pretty much every time. Which is why on today's show, we're going to be discussing how men fake their personality to sleep with you, of course. That way, you can finally understand the strategy and prevent yourself from ever falling for this trick ever again. Welcome to the Players Club. If you're paying attention to me and everyone else in the live stream, please say here present so I know you're here present and actively participating. Welcome to all of you beautiful souls on this Tuesday afternoon. Okay, good to see you. Oh, someone said no sound. It's no sound for you guys. Let me fix that. Let me fix that for you guys on TikTok. Okay, perfect. You guys should have sound now. Okay, so yes, welcome to SH. I see Sharice is over there in the chat as well, and I see who else we got in the chat? We got Scotty over here. We got Ella over here. Okay, Hazel's here as well. I see we got Sus. Who else? Giselle. Okay. We got some people up in the TikTok chat. Who we got in the YouTube chat? Of course, I see we got a new member, Linda. Linda Jessica is here. We got Julie is here. I see Ivy is here. Special K. Okay, we got Tracy here. Who was first today? Let me go up and scroll. Oh, it was Ashley. Ashley was first today in the chat. Okay. So congratulations to Ashley. She was here at like 3:00. So I hope Ashley's here. I see we got Julie, one of our channel members. Jazz is here. I see H here. And of course, wait, is she here? Oh, Missy America's late. I don't see Missy America in the chat yet. She probably come here a little bit later. Okay. But welcome all of you beautiful souls. And thank you. Special thanks to Anitra in the YouTube chat who donated a membership. Gifted a membership, so thank you so much. I seen you donated one yesterday too. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Okay, let's get started. For those of you on TikTok who missed the intro, today we're going to be discussing how men fake their personality to sleep with you. Okay, so what I'm going to go through here is I'm going to go through about 7 or 8 points, right? Where we're going to be discussing the strategy, meaning the steps that they're taking and the information, specific types of information that they're gathering. And then I'm going to explain to you what they're also doing with that information and how they're implementing it into your situationship, or if you want to call it a relationship, so that they can yield the result that they want to yield. And let's not even mess around. You know that the result they're trying to yield is in between your legs and it's gushing and overflowing with lubrication. Okay. So that's where we're going to be. That's how we're going to be explaining things today. So number one, I want to start off with desires. Okay, specifically, he's going to be actively seeking how he can understand your desires. How is he going to be doing that? He's going to be asking you quite a lot of questions. It's the same reason why I tell you to be asking questions. See, the thing about it is when you come on your dates or your talking stages or your whatever stages, and you're the one that's prepared to ask a whole bunch of questions because you want to know and gather as much information about him as you possibly can, well, you win. Because you're the one getting the information. See, the problem is a lot of you have went into your talking stages or on your dates thinking, okay, this should be all about me and the fact that I want to feel good for myself. So when I go out on this date, I want him to ask me all the questions and I want him to be interested in me. Sounds great in a Disney princess movie, but it actually works against you, okay? Because when he comes on the date and he gets to utilize his strategy on you, he gets to say to himself, okay, if I want to fake my personality for her so that she believes in the dream that I'm selling, so that I eventually get to sleep with her as quickly and as efficiently as I possibly can, then I need to be right away asking her as many questions as I can, and definitely need to be understanding her desires so that I know what it is that she's looking for. Okay? So an example of a great question that a lot of men are going to use generically to ask you when they go out on these dates with you is they're going to ask you, what are you looking for in a man? Tell me in the chat if you've ever gone on a date and a guy has asked you, what are you looking for in a man? Okay, very common question that a lot of people are going to ask. Now, I'm not saying this to say anytime a guy ever asks you this, that means it's malicious and that means he's got this whole plot and this whole plan going on. But I do want you to understand that he is extracting information from you when he asks you that particular question. And in the process of you responding, you're going to give him information that is valuable to him and can allow him this process of faking his personality. Okay? So he's going to ask you, what are you looking for in a guy, in a man, in a boyfriend? Why? Because he's trying to see, right? He's trying to gauge what it is that you want to see from him. Because in the process of this relationship, and we're going to go through all the strategies, so you're going to get an understanding of this holistically. Throughout this process of the relationship, his goal is to make you feel like you accidentally stumbled upon your Prince Charming. Okay? And you need to understand this has to feel organic to you, or else this whole process won't work. So he wants to make it feel as if you finally sat down on a date with the exact guy you were looking for. See, it's not enough to just assume what a girl wants and tell her generic things. That's not really going to work. It's not really going to trigger her the way that the man wants to trigger you. Okay. The only way for him to properly trigger you is for him to embody the specifics that you're looking for. And this will differ for each and every girl, each and every woman, right? Because your specifics in terms of what you're looking for will not just consist of, oh, I like nice guys, or I like guys who are friendly, and I like guys who treat me nice. There's going to be specific things that you're looking for based on your past, based on your traumas, which we'll get to, based on your desires, based on your perspective in life, based on the things that you've been through. And they're going to be very specific to you in terms of what your desires are. And when you tell him what those desires are, especially when you tell him those things in detail, what it's going to help him understand is, okay, now I understand what I must start and begin molding myself into in order to make her feel as if I am her Prince Charming. Okay, you have to understand that's the whole goal here. He wants you to feel like you're a Disney princess and he is your Prince Charming. So the best way for him to do that is to make it feel right? Make this whole experience feel very specific to you. Okay. Someone said, what's the topic? Today's topic is how men fake their personality. Okay. And the strategy that they use, right? He's trying to make you feel like this is your moment. He's not going to necessarily come out and say, hey, I'm your Prince Charming. He just wants you to feel as if he is your Prince Charming, specifically made just for you. Now, I'm not here to tell you that there'll never be a guy that comes across that genuinely wants to be with you and genuinely wants to be with you. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm trying to help you understand is a lot of guys will wear the same mask so that you are of the belief that he is the guy you're looking for, when in actuality, he's not the guy you're looking for. Which is why when I explain this strategy, I'm also going to give you guys advice on how to avoid this or how to prevent this from happening. So, in terms of desires, he's going to be asking you what you're looking for in a guy. He wants to understand what is the mold that you're looking for. What type of personality, what type of treatment especially are you looking for? What type of things do you want that guy to say, right? So for example, if I come out on this date with you and I say, hey, so what are you looking for in a guy? And you say, you know what? So my last ex and my past relationships, I've never been able to get a guy who just treats me right and buys me flowers and will take me out on fancy dates and will make sure that I'm taken care of and really give me that princess treatment. All my other men, they were broke, they had no money, and so we never went anywhere and we never did anything. So then he comes to you and he says, great, okay, I have a clear understanding of your desires. You're not just looking for a nice guy or a nice gentleman. You're looking for a princess treatment, and even more specifically, you're looking for a man to get you flowers. You're looking for a man to take you out to fancy dinner dates or to take you out to just places overall because your exes never went anywhere with you except to their house and to their bed. right? And so now I know in my mind, if I want to present myself in the exact way that you're looking for, what am I going to do on the next date? I'm going to bring you flowers. What am I going to do on the next date? I'm going to make sure I book somewhere that's really expensive or really extravagant that represents everything that you've been saying that you want to see and that you want to experience, okay? The reason I'm doing that is because I want you to be of the belief that I am your Prince Charming. I want you to be of the belief that this is exactly what you've always been looking for. Are you following me so far? Right? So, very important that once a man asks you a question like that, what are you looking for in a man? What are you looking for in a boyfriend? I know this is going to sound horrible, okay? I know this is going to sound like it doesn't make sense, and I know this is going to sound counterintuitive, but I actually want you to be extremely vague as soon as a guy asks you what you're looking for in a man. Like I say, I know in your mind you're thinking, but that's communication. That's just me letting him know how I feel. That's just me letting him know what I think, and that's just me letting him know my perspective and to help him be a better man for me. I know that's what you think. But in actuality, majority of guys are going to take that information and they're going to use it against you. Specifically, they're going to use it to make you feel like they're the person you're looking for, when in reality, they're not the person you're looking for. And the worst part about it is that you're only going to realize that he's not the person you're looking for after you sleep with him. That's the whole thing here. You understand? Right? In that the easier you make it for him to be able to mold and shape his personality and mold and shape his character and who he is, to make it feel as if it's organic and specifically made for you, the easier it will be for him to fool you, and the harder it will be for you to tell the difference between what's genuine and real versus what's curated and only created for the purpose of sleeping with you. And then once he sleeps with you, you'll realize that none of this was actually real. Okay. This is what we're trying to prevent, because once you get so deep into that you literally can't tell the guy who is trying to just sleep with you from the guy who is genuinely interested in you, then it becomes very difficult to make decisions on, okay, should I continue this relationship? Should I not? What are you here for? What are your intentions, right? And you want to be on guard because you want to be always observing and have the ability to evaluate if a guy is actually here for the right reasons or if he's just messing around because he wants easy access to you. Are you following me so far, right? Anitra says, right, it's like giving him the blueprint to fool us. Exactly. Which is exactly why you want to always keep your ability to make clear judgments based on factual information. I know this sounds very scientific and mathematical, but it needs to be broken down like this so that you can understand the strategy, right? You don't want to put yourself in a position where you're not able to observe factual information, where your observation of his actions and his words is based on what he's curating to make himself seem like what you're looking for. Then you're not actually observing the truth. You're observing a lie, right? And a mask, and a facade, and then you're making decisions about the relationship and about your own commitment to this man based on the facade. Are you following me so far? It's very important that you're vague with your desires so men don't really get an understanding of what they should be doing or how they should be presenting themselves to you so that they can get the easiest amount of access to you. Okay, and I know it sounds weird. I know it sounds strange, but I promise you, it'll help you stop being confused on if a guy is genuine or not. You have to hold yourself back on letting these guys into all the specific details on what you're looking for, because at the end of the day, they're the ones pursuing you. And in the process of them pursuing you, you're the one that's going to be saying yes or no to things. And if he's showing himself to be someone that you want to say yes to a lot of times, well, then you're going to say yes to him a lot of times. Right? So when a man asks you what you're looking for in a relationship, you respond with something very vague, something very basic that could apply to anyone, anything, in any circumstance. So for example, if I ask you, what are you looking for in a guy, rather than going into a whole bunch of heavy detail about what you're looking for in a boyfriend and in a husband, I want you to say, you know what? I'll know it when I see it. Or you know what? I like guys that are nice. I like guys that are cool to hang around with. Something very vague, very basic. You can even play dumb and act as if you don't know. I've never really thought about it. Honestly, I'm not really sure. In the process of meeting the right guy, I'm sure it'll come to me. Play dumb. I'm telling you, playing dumb will get you a lot of places, and will get you what you want a lot more times than you actually think. Right? And see, the thing about it is when you stay vague, when you put yourself in a position where he cannot use anything against you and he cannot use any information against you to get what he wants from you, well, now he actually has to go off of what his own genuine feelings are, or just play a guessing game and do vague, generic things that he thinks you want, but you may not actually want. And see, the thing about it is, even if he says, okay, well, I don't know what she specifically wants, but maybe if I just say vague, general things or do very vague, general things, it will feel genuine to her or will look genuine to her, and I can fool her anyways. The thing about it is, when guys go about it like that, you'll begin to clue in very early on that this actually looks very generic, what you're doing. You get what I'm saying? This doesn't really mean anything. So for example, if you're very vague with the guy and then he goes on to say, well, he just constantly love bombs you. He's always telling you, well, I hope you know you mean the world to me, and I hope you know you're the most beautiful girl on earth. No, you're literally the most beautiful girl I've ever laid my eyes on. No, you're literally you're more gorgeous than Angelina Jolie. You're more gorgeous than Kim Kardashian. You're more gorgeous than any other girl that I've ever seen in my entire life. When I laid my eyes on you, it was like my eyes rolled back in my head, and it was just so unbelievable because I can just see how much of a goddess you are, and he's laying it on thick, and you're like, what are you even talking about? What are you even saying right now? You're not even complimenting me. It just seems like you're literally throwing spaghetti at the wall and seeing what sticks, what will affect me. You see, and it becomes very difficult for guys to affect you in a way that's more specific to you. And the ways that they'll try to affect you or get you off your game or to get you emotional will be so generic that a lot of times it's a lot easier to pick up on the fact that he's just using a strategy and throwing spaghetti against the wall, as opposed to actually doing something real that means something. Okay? And you want guys to be in a position where if they're going to try to fake it, if they're going to try to put up a facade, it's so generic and so basic and so vague that you're like, oh, this is clearly a facade, because you're not even saying anything specific to me that has any meaning or value. You're actually just spewing randomness that doesn't make any sense. Okay. Ivy says, I love playing dumb. I'm telling you guys, playing dumb will get you a lot of places that you don't even realize. And the thing about it is, the thing is, once you let go of your own ego, feeling like you always have to be the smartest person in the room, playing dumb will get you a lot of things, unbeknownst to other people. And you'll be a happy camper in the end anyways. I'm telling you, right? When you play dumb. So this is another one of those situations where you play dumb as if you have no idea what you're looking for, and then you let him, basically, he's gonna have to figure it out and skate around aimlessly, like running around like a chicken with its head cut off, trying to figure out what it is that you want, because you weren't specific about it. Meanwhile, you do act. Now, let me be very clear. I do actually want you to know what you want, and I want you to know what it is very, very specifically. I want you to know exactly what you're looking for, and I want you to know exactly how it'll come. I want you to know exactly what you want your relationship to look like and all that good stuff. I want you to have those answers in detail. I just don't want you to share those details with him. Okay? Let me be very clear. Okay? So I don't want you to actually be dumb when it comes to knowing what you want out of a guy and out of a boyfriend. I just want you to play dumb so that he can't use that information against you, because that's one of the main ways they're going to be able to fake their personality. Are we on the same page so far? Okay. So number one was his desires. Now, your desires. Number two, this is information that he's also going to be extracting from you. Number two is going to be him getting an understanding of what your traumas are. Okay. We on the same page? He wants to get an understanding of what your traumas are, because he needs to understand how to trigger you, right? What your triggers are. And even more importantly, he needs to understand how to present himself as the opposite of everything that's been traumatic in your life. Okay? This is very important for him. And this is very important information to him, because the better he understands your trauma, the more he can at least even talk a big game about how he's so much different from all those other guys who have done you dirty, all those other guys who have mistreated you. And he can present himself as being literally the antithesis. I'm using SAT words. The antithesis, just meaning the opposite of exactly what you have dealt with in the past. So all the horrible things you went through with the guy, all the cheating, all the disrespect, all the going behind your back, all the messaging girls, all the liking Instagram pictures, everything traumatic that you went through with this past guy. He can come on his white horse with his like a knight in shining armor, and he can tell you, "Whoa, my lady, I'm here to save your life from all the traumatic things you've ever been through. And no longer shall you ever have to deal with cheating. No longer shall you ever have to deal with disrespect. No longer shall you ever have to deal with a man who doesn't see you for who you are. I am here to take you on my white horse, and I'm here to whisk you off to a land far, far away, where you shall be finally treated like the princess you've always dreamed of being. If you just take my hand, then I'll take you to a land far, far away." And you're so gassed and you're so over the moon because you feel like, oh my God, this is my moment. I told you before, everything he's doing in terms of faking his personality in order to sleep with you is all about making you feel like this is your moment, making you feel like this is the time that you finally got to meet Prince Charming, and not just a generic Prince Charming, but the Prince Charming that was literally made for you. He was made in a factory just for you. This is your Prince Charming, not no one else's. Okay. And he's gonna open up his hand and he's gonna say, "Here, I'm here to take you to a land far, far away." And understanding your traumas is a key element of that, because he needs to be able to position himself and his character and who he is and the essence of who he is. I know we're going really deep here. And the essence of who he is needs to be presented as if it's the exact opposite of everything horrible that you've been through. I'm here to just, tell you the truth about stuff. I know for some of you, this might be an eye opener, but that's good. Okay? Because once he can present to you like this, he's the complete opposite of everything you've ever been through, it becomes even more powerful, what he represents. Okay? And you feel even more like this whole situation and this whole person was curated and created just for you. Right? He gets into the desires, but then the opposite of just your desires is exactly your traumas. And so he hits them both. He hits your desires and makes you feel, and he gathers information to understand what you're desiring and what you want and what you're looking for. And then he gathers information of your traumas to understand exactly what you're not looking for. And he makes sure he applies both of those and makes you feel as if he embodies both your desires and the opposite of your traumas. Very, very important, because all of this paints an even more clear picture for him on how he should be presenting himself specifically to you so that you feel like this is your moment. Okay. So in order, same thing applies in terms of desires. The same thing applies to traumas. So when a guy asks you or starts trying to dive deep into, this might not be a necessarily direct question, but let's say you're on a date with a guy and he starts asking you about your deepest, darkest traumas with your ex and all the ways that he mistreated you, and to get into detail about how he cheated this way and he cheated that way and he cheated this way, right? I want you to be very vague about your past relationship. Now, I'm not saying that you should lie, and I'm also not saying that there's never a point where you should share. What I'm saying is that you should be sharing intimate details about your relationships, about your past relationships with your boyfriend or the guy that's actually taking you serious, not just with any random guy in your life or any random guy that you start dating. Okay, I want you to keep the focus on him and keep the focus on learning more about him instead of the focus being on you trauma dumping on him. Okay, so when a guy starts asking you anything that starts to lean into trauma dump territory, I want you to be of the mindset that what I went through it made me realize that was exactly what I wasn't looking for. And once I realized that, I literally have nothing to do with the person. I don't want to speak to the person. That person can't contact me. And so they're out of my life. I only keep my focus on whoever it is that is embodying what I'm looking for. And until they identify to me that they're not what I'm looking for, that's the only place my attention goes to. And the people who are not that, they're not that. And I came to that realization, you can be vague with it. So throw together the story, give the short synopsis, right? And you can even leave a lot of things out that are unnecessary details to the conversation that you're having. And be as vague and as basic as possible and efficient as possible when you answer these questions. And you never, ever, 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 ever want to be trauma dumping with random strangers that you're dating. Because rest assured, when you go on 1 or 2 or even 3 dates with the guy, you're dating a random stranger. Okay? So don't be in a rush to trauma dump on these guys, especially when you have no idea what he's going to do with that information. Now, you can trauma dump to your boyfriend, you can trauma dump to your husband. That's a completely different story. When you've built that trust and you understand that someone's actually there to be committed to you, that's totally different. But you can't identify if someone's actually there to be committed to you until you go through the process. And that process is not 1 week. That process is not 1 month. That process is not even 3 months, because a lot of you have 3-month situationships, okay? That process takes a while of learning and growing with each other and seeing each other in a variety of different circumstances and situations, okay? So don't be trauma dumping on random strangers that you just started dating, okay? Right? Keep the focus. And this is the amazing thing, because we talked about in past live streams, we've talked about why it's so important that you're on these dates asking him questions. You're on these dates inquiring about him and trying your best to better understand him. Why? Because the better you understand him, right, the more time you take up by asking him questions and getting him yapping about himself, he'll be less focused on trying to understand you better and asking you questions. There won't even be enough time, which is good. You don't want there to be enough time for him to start asking you a whole bunch of questions. You want to have all the time be focused on him so that you can be extracting as much information as you possibly can. Does that make sense to you guys so far? Okay, so number 1 was desires. Number 2 was traumas. Okay. And so number 3, okay, number 3 is going to be fantasies. Now, this is another element of information that guys want to understand about you, because when they understand this information about you, it allows them to take this, put it in their back pocket, and use it against you. Now, I'm talking about fantasies in both senses of the word, because a lot of times they're intertwined with each other. So obviously when I say fantasies, a lot of you think, I'm talking about him ramming himself inside you and calling you dirty names. Okay. I am talking about that, but I'm also even more talking about the fantasies that you have in your mind of what you dream a relationship would be like. I'm even talking about the emotional. And the reason I say that they're intertwined is that a lot of times those fantasies also stimulate down here. The fantasies that stimulate up here also stimulate down here. So it's kind of like a simultaneous thing. So even though it's not pineapple related necessarily or directly pineapple related, it's still stimulating down here because it's stimulating up here. And so when I say the fantasy, I'm even talking about the elements of your dreams and fantasies that consist of what you've always imagined a relationship with a man could possibly be in a dream scenario, right? So what I mean by that is, for example, one of your fantasies could be, I've always dreamt of one day just being at my house and I hear a knock on the door, and then all of a sudden I open the door and he's in a suit and he's got a dress for me in his hand, and he says, I've got this dress for you, and then he's got roses in the other hand, and then he comes in and he says, put on this dress, we're going somewhere at 9 p.m. And then I put on the dress, I'm like, where are we going? He's like, shh, it's a surprise. And he puts his hand over my lips and he says, just go to the bathroom and change. And I go to the bathroom and I change, and when I come out, he's got another box of chocolates and another a diamond necklace for me hidden away, and he gives me the diamond necklace and he says, come on, we're going to the place. And then he blindfolds me and then he takes me into this car, and then we drive off to my favorite restaurant, and I realize this is the place where I've always wanted to go since the beginning of my life, and this is my favorite restaurant of all time, and I've never been there because no guy would have ever taken me there. And then it's just you see how it's like, this is the fantasy that you've always dreamt of living out one day. Okay, it's not necessarily your pineapple related fantasy, it's your non-pineapple related fantasy, but it works the same way on your lower extremities, the same way a pineapple related fantasy would. Okay. And the reason I'm saying that is because when guys get a better understanding of it, obviously he's not necessarily going to buy you a diamond necklace, and he's not necessarily going to take you on some sort of $1,000 date. But the same idea applies, is that when he gets a better understanding of these pineapple related and non-pineapple related fantasies of yours, he gets an even better understanding of how to make you feel, once again, like this is your moment, like he has been made specifically for you, and everything about him is absolutely perfect for you. So you stop being able to determine and observe, are you actually being genuine? Is this actually what you want to be doing? Or are you doing this for the purpose of understanding that this will make it easier for you to be able to sleep with me? Okay. Monique says pineapple related. Please tell her in the chat. Please tell Monique in the chat what I mean by pineapple related and what pineapple stands for. Pineapple stands for when a guy is ramming himself into you at 30 miles an hour for exactly 90 seconds. That's pineapples. Okay. And so when I say pineapple related, I'm talking related to that. So things that would consist of that. Okay. So, fantasies is another very important piece of information that guys are going to try to extract from you in order to see. This is all great information for him to have, because he needs to know how he's going to mold and shape his personality to make it feel like it's absolutely perfect for you. So he needs to have an understanding of all of these three things that I mentioned here: your desires, your traumas, and your fantasies. So the same thing applies. You need to be extremely vague when you tell guys your specific unique fantasies. Now, I'm not necessarily, yes, we're talking about pineapple related fantasies, but even more importantly, I'm talking about these mental and emotional fantasies that you have, right, before you're ready to take that step. Okay. So you're not even supposed to be having pineapples early on. So you don't need to be discussing in super grave detail about all your emotional fantasies in your mind. Okay. That's the one I want you to be sure. If you want to talk about your pineapple related fantasies, sure, go ahead. But what I really want you to be guarding is your emotional related fantasies that consist of what you've always dreamt a relationship or a boyfriend could be. Because those are the things that he's going to be able to use against you to make it easier for him to sleep with you. Obviously, understanding your pineapple related fantasies is only going to benefit him once he actually sleeps with you. But understanding your emotional related fantasies, right, and mental related fantasies are going to make it easier for him to get to sleeping with you. Okay? Right? So, desires was number 1. Number 2 is traumas. Number 3 was fantasies. Number 4, now, this is where we get to how he's actually going to start. Now that he's gathered those pieces of information that are really valuable, this is where we start getting to the strategy. Okay. So now that he understands these things, because he's been asking you questions and you've been trauma dumping, you've been sharing all about you. Okay. This is how you'll see how this all connects. In the process of that, he will also simultaneously make sure to stay quiet. Some guys are even smart enough to play dumb themselves. Okay, because they'll stay quiet and they'll play dumb. So D said, are these recorded? No, this is me very live and I can see your question along with everyone else's question. Okay, so a lot of guys, they're going to play dumb. They're going to stay quiet specifically because they know this is very important. This is where I want all of you to be paying attention. Okay, so pay very close attention. This is hyper important. Guys are going to stay quiet because they know if they begin sharing too much about themselves, it will make it obvious that they're not on the same page as you. They don't think the same as you. And the more they begin sharing about themselves, you'll begin to get an understanding that, oh, you're actually not my dream man. You actually don't embody the qualities that I'm looking for. You're actually not made for me. Actually, you're not for me at all. So guys are going to be very strategic about staying quiet, letting you do all the talking. If they're really good, they'll ask you some questions, right? And they'll get you in the mood and get your train rolling and the ball rolling, where you're doing all of the talking, all of the trauma dumping. You're letting him know everything about yourself, every single detail. Meanwhile, he stays quiet and shares nothing. Why? Because now you don't have any real information to go off of. Everything you feel towards him and feel about him will be a projection of what you think he's like based on what you want him to be like. Are you following me so far? So the more he stays quiet and the better he is at staying quiet, the only opinion you can have of him is your projection of him. And you're naturally, right, as you like a guy and as you grow in your relationship, you're always going to want the projection that you create of him to be absolutely perfect, to be absolutely amazing, and to represent everything you absolutely want, which is good for him. See, now he doesn't have to worry about making himself look the right way in your eyes. All he has to worry about is staying quiet, and you'll create this fantasy of him. You'll create this idea of him in your mind, and you'll project that onto him because you don't actually know him. So the quieter he stays, the more you project, and the more he can embody in your eyes exactly what you're looking for. It's the same way, and I'll give you this example so that you can perfectly understand it. It's the same way if I had a black box in my hand and I told you that I would offer you this black box if you got these question right, or sorry, this is the example that I actually should be giving. If I told you you had an option between a cell phone and whatever was in my black box, let's just pretend there was a huge black box in my hand and it was mysterious and you had no idea what was inside it, right? Even though the cell phone might be valuable, let's say it's a brand new iPhone 15 Pro Max, whatever, or for those of you who like Androids, it's a brand new Samsung Galaxy S24. I don't know. What's the newest one? Tell me what's the newest one. And I'm offering that to you, but I'm also offering you whatever's in this black box, but you can only get what's in this black box after you make a decision, and you can only know what's in there after you make a decision. What you're likely to do is, because it's a mystery and because you don't understand what's inside the black box, you don't know for sure, you're likely to project whatever it is that you desire the most in the black box. Why? Because you want to believe that the black box exists in where all your dreams and deepest desires exist. So if you're really looking for a house, in your mind, you're going to be imagining sitting inside this black box is a deed to a house or keys to a mansion. Right? If you really want a car, you really want a Corvette, let's say, or you really want a Porsche, you're going to be imagining that sitting in this black box are keys to a Porsche or keys to a Corvette. You understand? And you're naturally going to project whatever your own individual deepest desires are simply because you have no understanding of what it actually is. And it's the same thing with the men. As they stay quiet, they allow you to be able to project onto them whatever it is that you actually want a guy to be. And because you don't have any real information about him, you then come to the conclusion that he is exactly what you're looking for. And all he had to do was stay quiet. And I know that I hate to make guys seem like supervillains, but I want you to understand, while not all guys might be writing this down in their notebook and saying, okay, I'm going to make sure to stay quiet on this date and things like that. I do want you to understand this is a learned behavior that guys develop over time in the process of meeting girls and growing relationships with women. They understand in order to get what they want, this particular strategy works the best to do that. And so they know when they stay quiet, they allow you to project. It gets them to the destination that they want to be in, which is jackrabbiting themselves inside you for exactly 90 seconds. Okay? So this is the same reason why the solution to this is you need to be asking the questions. You need to be leading the conversation, not by yapping the most. You need to be leading the conversation and steering the conversation by understanding what questions and information you want to extract and asking about him. And then when he does ask about you, you don't go on long tangents. You don't start trauma dumping. You make sure you answer questions efficiently and quickly, and you direct it right back to him, but you don't do it in a way that seems like an interrogation. We've talked about this before. You do it in a way where it seems like you're so deeply interested in everything he has to say that you can't get enough of hearing more about him, because that becomes mesmerizing and addicting to those men. And then they fall into the trance. We call it enchantment. They fall into the trance and are enchanted by you, where they begin trauma dumping on you, sharing everything about themselves, spilling their guts about everything, and just yapping while you're gathering a whole bunch of information about who he really is. And he doesn't even realize it. Okay? Right? Someone says, can you still do that even if you let him have pineapples before? What do you mean? Like, can you still do these things that we discussed? I mean, yeah, but you have to understand that the guys, when they're faking their personality, they're doing this to sleep with you. So a lot of times you'll realize very closely after he sleeps with you, things change, and it seems like his personality changes, not because his personality has actually changed, but because his motivation and desire to fake his personality so that he'll sleep with you is gone, because now he slept with you. Okay, so a lot of times you'll find after a guy sleeps with you, you'll get a better understanding of who he really is and how he really feels about you, unfortunately. Okay. And the whole point of what we're discussing here is to help give you a strategy to recognize who he actually is before you sleep with him, or to at least make it put you in an environment where you can make that determination without being so confused about all the facades he's going to throw at you. Does that make sense? Right? So, number 1 was desires. Number 2, traumas. Number 3, fantasies. Number 4, staying quiet. Number 5 is story curation. Okay? Now, what guys are going to do is they're going to be very, very, very sneaky. See, when they get to stay quiet, they get to think to themselves, right? Because you're yapping. And you're in la la land because you're yapping, you're talking about yourself, you're sharing all about yourself, and you're thinking this is all about you. So as they stay quiet, they get to then curate their stories and plan out their stories of what they're going to tell you, because they don't want to say anything that will make it seem or make it obvious that they're not who you're looking for. So when they ask you about an ex, when you ask him about an ex, he's going to make sure to curate his stories in a way that still makes him seem like he's your Prince Charming. So what's he going to do? He's going to deflect a lot. What's he going to do? He's going to talk about how his ex wronged him. He's going to twist the story. And he's most likely, if he's really smart, he's going to twist the story in the exact way that makes him look like a sympathetic character, but also simultaneously makes him look like exactly who you're looking for. So for example, let's say you've been looking for a gentleman and you've told him that many times, how your last few relationships, your boyfriends or exes have been abusive to you, both emotionally and physically. They've really put you down. They called you names and all this stuff like that. And then what he can say when it's time for him to share about himself, he can curate the story. You know, it's so tragic because when I was with my ex, the things that she would do to me when she was upset and angry, she was so disrespectful. She went behind my back and she would call me all types of names. One time we were in the car and she got upset and she literally tried to crash my car. And she literally was holding the steering wheel and I literally had to hold on for dear life, and we almost crashed into a tree pole because she was so angry and upset. And, I just forgave her time and time again because, I just have a big heart and I have such a soft spot for that girl. And I'll always love that woman because I love so hard. And that's my problem. I love so hard. And when I love people so hard, it's just so difficult for me to get through situations even when I know it's bad. And then you're sitting there like this. Oh, really? That's so sad. That's so sad that someone would treat you like that. I can't believe you allowed that. You're such a kind man. You're literally the exact type of man I always wish I could have in my life. That is so kind and nurturing and understanding. Look at how your ex treated you and you were so rational and forgiving. Meanwhile, he doesn't tell you that in that time where his ex took the steering wheel and almost crashed the car, it was because she found out that he cheated with her best friend, and he's been doing it for the past 5 months. No, he doesn't tell you that part. Okay? But this is the type of things that I'm talking about when I say the story curation. See, the longer you spend yapping and the more time you spend in la la land thinking that this whole entire stage of getting to know him and dating him is all about you and all about you being able to trauma dump and share about yourself, I understand that it makes you feel great, but you don't realize what's happening underneath the surface. And you don't realize how it makes it so much easier for him to strategize in the way that he presents himself to you. And it makes it so much harder and more difficult for him to ever slip up because he doesn't have to talk too much. You're in la la land talking all about yourself and your own experiences. Meanwhile, he's sitting back, strategizing and thinking, okay, what's my angle of attack? What are the pressure points on her? Okay, now that she's sharing this, I understand this is a place where I should be focused on. And I hate to make guys sound like supervillains, but the reality of it is the guys who are really smart and the guys who build this skill set over the course of time understand that if they just sit back, relax, they stay quiet, they agree with you, and they don't argue too much, and they just make it seem like everything's copacetic and going good and going amazing, right? And they align with whatever thought process that you already have, it makes it a lot easier for them to hop right into your pants, your pantalones. Okay, so story curation is one. So once again, you need to be asking questions so that he's not allowed to curate his stories. And even when you do ask questions, don't accept one simple answer. I want you to dig. I want you to ask follow-up questions. I want you to ask for things in detail. I want you to gain as full of an understanding as you possibly can until you finally say, okay, I feel like I'm actually understanding you a little bit better now. Okay. Thank you so much, Sammy, for the donation in the TikTok chat. You guys know Sammy's like the #1 donator in the TikTok chat. So thank you. I appreciate that so much. Okay. Right. So number one was staying quiet. Or sorry, number one was desires. Number 2 was traumas. Number 3, fantasies. Number 4, staying quiet. Number 5, story curation. Number 6 is going to be mirroring. So what guys are going to do as they go through this process of curating their story, staying quiet, letting you project onto them, what they're also going to do when they're very smart, when they're faking their personality, they're going to begin mirroring you. Now, specifically what I'm talking about is they just want you to feel like they're just like you. Okay. There's no better feeling than feeling like when you meet someone, they're just like you. They think the same as you. They feel the same ways as you about everything. They share the same ideologies as you. Everything about you and this guy is absolutely similar. You guys were like, 2 peas in a pod. Okay. And you'll get excited thinking even more and confirming in your mind even more. This is your moment. And you'll confirm even in your mind even more that he has exactly been made for you perfectly in a factory because he thinks exactly the same way you do. So what he's going to do, right, rather than just agreeing with you, he's going to agree with you on a lot of things. And he's going to make himself seem like everything that you feel is exactly what he feels. What he's also going to do is he's going to mirror you in terms of your thought process and your excitement towards things. So what he's going to do, this is very sneaky. And I actually tell you guys to do this too as well. But this is very sneaky. What the guys will do is whatever you're most excited about, he's going to mirror his excitement for that as well. Why? Because he wants you to feel like you're having such a great, deep connection. Okay, on this thing, even if he's not that interested in it, it's very powerful for you to feel like someone is interested in something that you're interested in. Why? Because you'll feel like you're even growing an even deeper connection with one another, and you're even becoming even more close to one another, and that you're even more perfectly made for each other. Okay. Now, I'm not saying that any man who tries to show interest in something that you're interested in is lying to you, but I do want you to understand that this is a strategy, right? And as they stay quiet, as they don't share too much, and then when they mirror you to make it seem like they're literally agreeing with you on exactly how you feel about a topic, exactly how he feels about a topic, exactly how you feel about an ideology is exactly what he feels about an ideology. Okay. And everything is like you guys are like 2 peas in a pod, perfect for each other. Just so perfect. Everything's perfect. But in reality, all he's doing is mirroring you and whatever feelings or emotions you have towards whatever particular topic or concept it is, so that you can believe that you guys are exactly the same. And if you believe you're exactly the same, well, it'll be a lot easier for him to connect himself inside your squirtle. Okay. Right? And it'll make it a lot easier for you to continue living in this bias and in this narrative that, oh my God, you are literally perfect. Oh my God, you are literally exactly what I've been looking for. Okay. So when men are mirroring you, this is the thing. A lot of the solutions to this are going to be very similar. You need to be asking questions. You need to be keeping the focus on him. And you also need to be very hyper aware of when a guy is not presenting to you any opinions or thoughts that are in misalignment with you. Because the reality of it is, when you're meeting another individual that grew up in a different house than you, with different parents than you, with different siblings than you, in a different environment, right? Like, they're going to be different from you. So these are the type of things that you should be thinking about when you're on these dates. If you're dating a guy and you start to get the sense that, we never seem to disagree on anything. He seems to have the exact same views as me on everything. And I mean everything. There's nothing that we view differently. There's nothing that we disagree on. There's nothing that we even see slightly differently. I want you to start being skeptical of those men, because that's a strategy. And there's no way, listen to me. I'll tell you this right now. There's no possible way you can meet someone who grew up in a totally different environment than you, and they see the world exactly the same as you. It's impossible. On top of the fact, you're not talking to another woman. You're talking to a man. So just by that in itself, even if he grew up in the exact same town as you, with the exact same type of parents as you, with the exact same circumstances, he's still a man. So even from that perspective, his perspective from life is going to differ from yours. And so just on that alone, there's no possible way you'll ever be able to agree on everything, and you'll ever be able to have the same ideologies or thinking or perspective on life about every single thing. So that should be turning your antennas when you're on dates with guys and you're realizing, oh, you seem to be not genuine in the way that you're expressing yourself. It seems more like you're mirroring whatever sentiments or feelings that I have towards any topic or concept or thought process or ideology, whatever it may be. Okay, right? Sun Queen says, while in the car on dates, keep the car radio or music off, because he doesn't want to talk, so he wants the music to avoid giving you information. I couldn't have said it better myself, Sun Queen. That was a great comment that you just put there. Okay, and that actually would be an even better strategy as well, an assisting strategy when you are on these dates. Use every period, like Sun Queen just said, not even just the car. Use every period of your date on a guy to learn more about him. I never want you to be wasting time doing pointless things like listening to background music, watching Netflix, watching a movie, watching a TV show, right? Use your time on these dates with these guys, especially at the very beginning. Use that valuable time to gather information about him, because the longer he can spend time with you doing things like Sun Queen just said, music, you know what I mean, in the background, you guys are just listening to music in the car on a late night drive, not really sharing any conversation. Netflix, just passively scrolling through Netflix, watching random things, not really doing anything together, right? Just all these different activities that don't require you going out to the club together, going out to a party together where you're not really connecting or sharing anything or having a conversation, right? All these different things that guys can use to make you feel like you're spending quality time with them and getting to know them better, but you don't actually know them any better, is a great way for guys to pull the wool over your eyes, right? Because the longer time goes on, you're feeling like, oh, we're closer now because more time has passed, when in reality, you're not any closer to that man than you've always been. Okay? Mamiwata? I think that's how you say your name. Thank you so much for the gift in the TikTok chat. Thank you. Okay? Does that make sense to you guys? Right? Use all of your time very efficiently and wisely. Make sure you allow yourself the space to get to know a guy and to gather information on that guy even more specifically. Thank you, Mamiwita. Yeah, for the gift again. Okay, so very important. Very important. Okay, so number 1 was desires. Number 2, traumas. Number 3, fantasy. Staying quiet. Number 4. Number 5, story curation. Mirroring. Number 6. And here we have the shell at number 7. So what guys are going to do when he's gathered all of this information, now it's time to make you feel like he's showing you exactly what you want to see. So he's going to start, okay, this is the really smart and strategic thing that guys are going to do. Very smart and strategic. So let's say, for example, you have always wanted a guy to take you out to a Nobu restaurant, come to you with flowers, and make you feel like this is your moment, give you a necklace, buy you a dress that you're going to wear to the dinner, and all that fancy stuff. This is part of your fantasy that you really want a guy to do. Obviously, he's not going to buy you a diamond necklace. He just wants to sleep with you. He's probably not going to buy you a really amazing dress. He just wants to sleep with you. And he's probably not going to take you to $1,000 restaurant. He just wants to sleep with you. But what he can do is he can give you that same feeling but doing it with us by spending a lot less money. So what he might do is something like, before you guys go out on a date, he shows up to your place a little bit early with flowers in his hand that cost him $20. Now, I'm not saying that he should want to spend a whole lot of money on you. I'm just helping you understand that guys will, now that they have the information, they'll be looking for how they can show you that they're the man that you're looking for by giving you some small actions that feel very similar, very eerily similar to everything that you were hoping to get from him and receive from him. Okay? Because as he begins showing you that or telling you that, all of that is confirming in your mind the narrative that this is your moment and this is your Disney princess movie. So as he shows you that, this is going to go on. Now, the show part, after he gathers the information, the show part is going to last for as long as it possibly takes for him to sleep with you. So he's going to be showing you and showing you and showing you that in so many ways. In the process of showing you that, he's also going to be gauging your reactions to things and gauging whether or not it seems like you're bending and you're folding. So let's say you're like, oh, I only want to sleep with the guy if I know this relationship's going to be serious. As he can see that you're bending and you're folding because he's showing you more things that make you more mesmerized and make you feel like this is more of your Disney princess movie, he's going to say, okay, that's the one I need to press. That's the button I need to stay on and keep pressing, because if I keep pressing that button, then eventually I'll be able to get what I want from her and extract what I want from her. Okay. And he's going to be thinking in his mind, okay, let me keep my focus on showing her exactly what moves her the most, right? Because whatever moves her the most is what's going to move her right on top of me and bouncing up and down on me for 90 seconds until I bust a load everywhere. Okay. Right. Thank you so much to Anitra, who gives one membership again in the YouTube chat. Okay, so the show happens. Now, hopping right from the show. So we had desires number 1, 2 traumas, 3 fantasies, staying quiet, story curation, mirroring the show. Then comes the reveal. Okay. The most painful part of this entire men faking their personality. Okay. Because the reveal comes directly after he sleeps with you, after he jackrabbits himself inside you for 90 seconds while you stare at the ceiling and count the ceiling tiles. He says, wow, wasn't that great? Did you come? Obviously you didn't, but you probably lied to make him feel better. And he says to himself, great, this was awesome. Let's maybe do this again in 2 weeks. And you're like, wait, what, in 2 weeks? He's like, yeah, in 2 weeks. You know, like, I was never actually here to be invested in you. I was working everything up until this point where hopefully I climaxed and hopefully you climaxed, even though you probably didn't. And yeah, once I got to this point, that was the end goal here. So I'll probably only sleep with you whenever it's convenient for me again. And if it was really good, hopefully I'll be able to get to do it a little bit sooner rather than later. But in the meantime, I'm not really going to be showing you or doing any other things that you need or giving you any other consistency that you need, because that's not what I'm here for. I was here for my goal of sleeping with you. Now that I've done that and accomplished that, I don't need to continue this facade anymore. So actually, please back up, because I need to unzip my Prince Charming suit. And you're like, unzip your Prince Charming suit? What are you talking about? And he takes a step back and he literally, it's like you watch him peel off his face. He starts peeling off his face, peeling off the hair, right? It's fake hair, peeling off the fake eyebrows, fake everything, right? He's peeling off the entire face. He unzips the whole suit. He's got a different fit underneath. It's like a bum fit, a really bummy fit, okay? Underneath, he literally steps out of his Prince Charming suit like this, one foot and then the next foot. He steps out of the Prince Charming suit, and then you're seeing like a lifeless shell of a human on the floor there. And you're just like, what is going on? I thought you were exactly I thought you were exactly who I was looking for. And he's like, no, 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 no. Who you are looking for is that lifeless suit, shell of skin that's laying on the floor there, dry and dehydrated. Who I actually am is this guy underneath. Who you want is there, but that guy doesn't actually exist in real life. And you're stunned. You're like, your mouth is open. You're stunned. And he's like, yeah, so I'll see you again maybe sometime later. Can you throw this Prince Charming suit in the trash away from me? It kind of smells, and I've been wearing it for way too long. So if you could throw that out for me, that'd be really nice. And then he gets in his car and then he leaves. Or for some of you who came over to his house, he gets you to get your own Uber home. So yes, that's very traumatic for you. And I'm describing it like that because I want you to be in pain when you hear that back again, because I want you to realize what's actually happening to you. Okay. The men are faking their personality only to reveal to you when they finally sleep with you that they're nothing like who you thought they were. Now, I don't want to say this so that you'll never believe in a man telling you that he wants to be with you and wants to be in a relationship ever again. I don't want you to become a pessimist where you never feel like you should ever be dating men ever again. That's not what I want from this. What I want from this is to help you understand the strategy that goes on, why you've been seeing the same things happening over and over and over again in your dating life. That way, when you go into your dating and talking stages and your whatever stages, you can be more hyper aware and skeptical of people that you're meeting and say to yourself, before I commit myself to you and give myself to you, before I give my squirrel to you, I'm going to evaluate and observe if you're actually the guy that I'm looking for. And until I get that answer, that is the only time I will give myself to you. Before I get that answer, you will not have access to me like a man who is my boyfriend would. So all of your effort better be on doing backflips and front flips to show me what you got. And I'm going to be testing you and evaluating you this entire time. And until we've confirmed and I've confirmed that you're the guy that I'm looking for, that is the only time you're going to get access to me fully. Until then, you will not have complete access to me. And I'm not going to fold, I'm not going to bend, and I'm not going to break because I already know the strategies that you're going to try to use to get access to me easier or to break me. Does that make sense to you guys in the chat? Okay. What we just discussed today about how men fake their personality. Of course, we know why, but how they're doing it. Okay. Michelle says, pay attention to their behaviors, patterns, and actions, not their words. I 100% agree, right? You have to be paying attention to those. Someone says, please, can you repeat? For those of you who came late and you missed the points that I just discussed, please make sure to go over to my YouTube page, which is right above my head. I'm live on YouTube at the exact same time that I'm live on TikTok. So when you go over to my YouTube page, just type my name in. It's right above my head on the right side of the screen. And you will be able to find my YouTube page and you'll be able to rewind this live. And it'll still be there even after we finish the live, where you can rewatch all of the points. Okay. Right. Someone says, what do you mean by not giving them access? I'm talking about not giving them access to what's in between your legs. Okay. That's lubricated. Okay. Full of liquid. You should know what I mean by that. That's what I mean by not giving them access to you. Okay. Alexandra says, how do you know the real ones? That is going to be another show for another day on how to determine the real ones. But this show was for understanding how men are going to fake their personalities and the strategy that they're using on you. Now, obviously, there's a strategy that you should be using that will best serve you. And in other shows, we'll discuss that strategy. Okay. Right. Holly says, also, what if you're just wanting pineapples from them? Then this doesn't apply to you whatsoever. If you just want pineapples for a guy and you only want to sleep with him and you only want to use him for your pleasure, then go ahead and do that. But what I will warn you of, and this is something that all the members of the Beautiful Players Club will probably know by listening to a whole bunch of other people's stories in the Discord. By the way, for those of you who are new here, we're going to hop into the Discord in a second and you're going to learn a lot. But what you'll realize for Holly and for anyone else who's thinking in their mind, but what if I just want to use him for pineapples as well? What if I just want to get access to him as well and get my pleasure off as well? what you're going to realize is that's a stupid game and a stupid trick that you play on yourself. And you're the only one that loses when you do that. Why? Because when you access men for the simple aspect of, oh, I just want pleasure, I just want my own fun, what's going to happen is one of two things. Either you're going to go through this process, and for one reason or another, it's going to end. And so you wasted a body on a guy who you didn't end up with. And now the fun is over and you have to find a new guy to have fun with. So you're just racking up bodies. Or you're going to have so much fun with this guy. You're going to enjoy your time so much with this guy. You're going to get so much pleasure that now all of a sudden you want this to be more than just fun pleasure. But what happens when you've already made it clear to that guy that you're only here for fun pleasure and you try to switch it up now and you try to get more out of him now? He's going to say, whoa, whoa, whoa. You told me you were here for fun and you were here for us to just have a good time. I enjoy utilizing you, not committing to you while being able to explore other girls and having a good time. You're trying to get me to commit to you when you've been giving me you for free? Now you want me to pay for it? That's like someone asking you to pay a premium subscription for something they've been getting for free for years. He's going to say, whoa, 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 whoa. I'm not here to pay for your subscription or pay for your product. You either offer it to me for free or I don't want it. I'm not here to pay for nothing, right? And you're going to be frustrated because now you're attached to a guy who you're trying to build a relationship with and you want more from. Meanwhile, he's saying, no, you're already giving it to me for free. So I'm not going to pay for nothing. I'm not committing to nothing. I'm not being consistent with nothing. You were offering it to me for free. Now, all of a sudden, you don't want to offer it to me for free. You can't go back on your word. No take backs. Okay, so Holly and everyone else who thinks, well, I just want to utilize this for my pleasure, and you kind of want to beat the men at their own game, I promise you, you're the only one that gets played that way. Okay, you're the only one that ends up getting hurt that way and losing out. And it's not just me saying that. I promise you, if you join us for the Discord, you'll realize that many, many women have thought the same as that they're going to beat the system and game the system by getting what they want and outdoing the men at the men's game and getting their pleasure and getting their rocks off, only to realize they got their rocks off and then they got played, or they got their rocks off and now they want a full commitment and they're frustrated now and they're in no man's land now. Don't play your own self by trying to outdo the men at the men's game. You're not a man. Okay, that's not a bad thing. It's actually a good thing. Be you. If you're so horned up, one of two things: either get you a rose or get you, some of you like the rose. I advise you to get a Tracy's dog sucking vibe. Okay, that's a story for another day. But get you one of those that will satisfy you properly, or build a long-term lasting relationship with the man that also satisfies your needs. And then when he's drilling you, at least you have commitment. Okay, if you're that horned up. Now, if some of you can't wait because you're so horned up that you literally cannot wait to build this relationship because you're so horned up you can't think straight, get you a rose or the Tracy's dog sucking vibe. My advice would be to get the Tracy's dog because that one will change your life. It's got two attachments. It sucks you and it penetrates you at the same time. It'll change your life, I promise you. Okay. Someone says, paste the link to the toy, please. I don't have the link on me. It does just have it readily available, but trust me, if you search it up on Google, it'll change your life. Even if you just type in Tracy's dog sucking vibe on Google, and then when you go on the site, if you go on the OG one, just look at the reviews. The reviews themselves will tell you everything you need to know. Now, I advise you to get the 2 version because the OG version, right, version number 1 doesn't come with the remote. Version number 2 comes with the remote. Trust me, it makes it easier to do things when it comes with the remote. But the OG version works just as well if you want the OG version. And if you look at the OG version reviews on the website, trust me, you'll be like, oh my God, this is literally changing people's lives. Okay. I'm just telling you because I know some of you have that issue and it's actually leading to some of your problems where you're not able to make rational decisions because you're so horned up. Being horned up is not a crime, but when being so horned up works against you and serves to your detriment because you're building horrible relationships with horrible people just because of how horned up you are, then it becomes a problem that needs to be addressed and needs to be solved. So that's why I give you guys that solution to help you solve if you're super horned up, because I know some of you are. Okay, it's not a crime. So that's why I say that. Say that. Okay. Someone said I need it. Yeah, trust me, it will change your life. Okay, it will change your life. I promise you, it will change your life. Don't ask me how I know. I just know a lot about a lot. Okay. Someone says the fact that he knows. Yeah, don't worry, guys. How I know. Someone says, Book of Light says, why are you suggesting ignore and being quiet to the answer of most situations? What is happening with the mature communication between two people? Okay, I want to be very clear. I'm not saying that communication is a bad thing. I'm also not saying that you should never communicate with people. What I need you to understand is that some of the things that you think are communication, you don't realize that what you're considering communication, guys are taking that information and they're using it against you. So if you don't strategize and understand that, I'm not saying that every guy is out to get you, but I do want you to understand not every guy you go out on a date with is actually there to build a long-term relationship with you. I have to be real with you in that realization so that you can understand how to filter out the men who are not there to be in a serious relationship from the men who are actually there to actually build something with you. And if I don't give you a strategy on how to filter out people, then you're just going to go into all of your relationships and talking stages with the belief of, I should just be as communicative as possible, tell him every single thing about myself, tell him every single thing I'm thinking, not realizing that just because he's on a date with you, that doesn't mean he's here for the right reasons. Then when you do all that work of sharing, trauma dumping, giving him all these answers and information, he uses that to play you, right? And he uses that to make you feel like he's building something real with you. He sleeps with you. And then now you realize that he's not that person. He walks away or abandons you. And then now you're confused like, wait, I thought we were building something this whole time. And so that's why I'm giving you guys the strategy that you need to keep your cards close to the chest. And I'm not saying you never share with people or you never be intimate with people or you never give them any sides of yourself or have any communication with them. I'm saying you do that with the people you can actually trust, not strangers that you're on a dinner date with. Okay. And that's what a lot of you are making the mistake of doing. You're giving all of this information that's valuable information to strangers that you're on a dinner date with. Okay, that's not the same as giving this information to your husband or giving this information to your boyfriend. Okay, very, very different. That's what I want you guys to be understanding. Okay, right? Trini says, guys literally use 48 Laws of Power and the Art of War type strategies. It's true. I've read both of those and it's very true. Okay, not all guys are reading those books, but they, like I say, they develop those strategies over time to gain a better understanding of what yields them the best result. Because you have to understand, guys are looking for whatever strategy is going to yield them the result of being able to sleep with the most women the quickest possible. Let's just be so for real. Okay. And that's what a lot of guys are seeking. And so when they come across you, they're not going to tell you, I'm trying to sleep with you as quickly and efficiently as possible. They're going to do a whole bunch of talking and yapping and conversation around that whole point so that they can still get what they want. They're not going to tell you that that's what they want. Okay. No guy's going to come up to you and say, oh my God, look at the way your bum looks in those jeans. The way you're just shaped and the way those jeans look on you, girl. When I seen you at that party and I seen those jeans fitted on you, I couldn't resist and I had to come up to you and have a conversation with you because I cannot help but fantasize to myself what it would be like to sleep with you after seeing you and seeing your dump truck in those jeans. He's not going to come up to you and say that. He's going to come up to you and say, oh my God, when I laid my eyes on you, it was like love at first sight. Oh my God, the moment I met you, I knew I wanted you to be the mother of my children. Oh my God, the moment I met you, I knew I wanted you to be my wife. Okay, right? Because he knows, and through learned behavior, he understands just coming out and saying exactly what he's actually looking for in you is not going to yield him the result of sleeping with you. So he's got to circumvent that by talking about the things that you'll find interesting and fascinating so that you'll sleep with him. He's definitely not going to say that your dump truck looks amazing in those jeans and that's why he's talking to you. He's going to make it feel like this is your spiritual moment and you guys have lived together in a past life and that's why you guys came across each other and that's why you're talking today and that's why your connection is so deep. Okay, right? Does that make sense? Okay, so I hope that made sense to you guys. And with that being said, it's time. Please, Discord members, please, Players Club members, tell the rest of the live stream chat exactly what dime it is. Because those who are new here, those who haven't discovered how deep the Players Club can go, are very confused. When I say time, they're looking at their watch. When I say time, they're looking at their phone. When I say time, they're looking at the clock. But little do they know, we're not talking about the time on Earth. We're not talking about the time on your watch. We ain't even talking about the time on the clock. We're talking about the fact that Discord time! Okay, for those of you who are new here, you're very confused. Discord time is when me and the members of the Players Club, we hop into our Discord and we discuss people's situations, relationships, drama, all that good stuff. And I give my advice to those of you beautiful Players Club members with questions live on the show. So these are all organized in order of when they were submitted. So when I scroll down, don't worry, I answer them based on who the last person, or sorry, who the oldest question is, if you're ever wondering what order this is supposed to be in. Okay, so keep that in mind. So first we have here Lavik. Okay, so Lavik says, let's see here. Lavik says, nice in person, but difficult through text. By the way, if you have a question that you want to get answered on the Players Club Discord, please, if you're on TikTok, head over into the link in my description. Or if you're on YouTube, you just go right into, link in my bio if you're on TikTok, and the link in the description at the bottom if you're on YouTube, okay? That's where you can hop into the Discord and ask your question in the relationship advice section. It's also a pinned comment if you're on YouTube as well. So nice in person, but difficult through text, part 1, okay? So Lavik says, hi, Tomisin. I came across your TikTok a while ago and you give great relationship advice, especially for people like me who's barely had any relationship experience. So thank you. Thank you. A year ago around Christmas, I met a guy off Tinder. Not even Hinge. Tinder. Let's continue. At the time, he was 22 and I was 23. It was my first time meeting a guy off a dating app, and you probably learned something. Let's see. I had been wanting to. Only thing is, I had no car at the time, and my anxiety wouldn't let me Uber to them or let them come to get me. So the guy would ghost me. Okay, so that's the reason why you weren't meeting guys. Anyways, no guy wanted to come to me, and he was the first one who was like, okay with it, which was exciting. He was also very attractive to me and tall. No, I mean, his pictures were attractive to you. I don't know how you'd be able to tell he was tall over the picture. Anyways, he lives over an hour away, by the way. Okay, let's see how it ended up when you finally met him. We had been talking for a week or two before about simple stuff, nothing deep. He started love bombing me, saying he loves me. Talking for a week or two. And he was saying that he loves you after a week of two of talking to you over the phone and never actually meeting you after meeting you on a dating app. Does that seem logical in your mind? That a man would say he loves you and he met you 2 weeks ago on a dating app. Does that seem logical? Which I questioned how he loves me so early. Then he replied he just likes my energy. Does that seem logical? That a man would say that he loves your energy and he's never even met you in person. I need you guys to I really need you guys to put down the phone, because putting down the phone will help stop making this stuff feel real to you. Because I feel like that's part of the problem, is that for you guys, it feels so real to you that you can't help yourself. Because none of what you're saying here makes any sense. How can someone feel your energy when there aren't, at least if you can say, oh, I feel your energy when he's around you in person, at least, okay, that can make some sort of sense. But he's talking about, I feel your energy over this phone. What energy is he feeling? The energy he's feeling, let's all be for real. The energy he's feeling is in his pants. That's the energy that he's feeling. It's lots of energy going on there. A lot of energy. And the energy that's going on in his pants is making him say silly stuff like he loves you when he's never even met you. It's a lot of energy. When guys have that energy flowing through their pants, they say things that make absolutely no sense. So you have to be thinking to yourself, does what you're saying even make sense? Or are you just spewing randomness because you're really horned up? You really need to start thinking like that. I know it's not as fantastical as wanting to believe that, oh my God, maybe he does feel my energy. Oh my God, maybe I am the perfect person for him. Oh my God, maybe this is my moment and we are building something super magical and super interesting like no one's ever built before. That feels nice to think that that's you and that's the situation you're in, but I'm here to burst your bubble and tell you it's not that. It's just a lot of blood flow going to his lower extremities. I just got to tell you the truth. So Christmas Day, he FaceTimed me randomly. Oh, he's going to feel your energy through FaceTime now? Asking me if he can come over. He seemed lonely and he was in the dark. I felt bad, so I said yes. Let's all take a random guess chat. What happens when he comes over? Okay, let's see how much energy he feels when he comes over. I texted him. I haven't read this before, by the way. I texted him after asking him if he was really going to come, because it was just really random. We both were still strangers, but he said he was coming and that he was getting ready, which then I got ready. I wonder what he means by getting ready. Probably shaving. I wonder what he's shaving. Anyways, let's go on. He pulls up, he hugs me and greets everyone. Who is everyone? Did you invite him to your family house? Why would you do that? You invited this random Tinder guy to your family home where your parents live. Okay, aside from like the relationship stuff, you need to understand like the world is not all roses and dandelions. Like you do understand like that's a safety risk. Like you invited a random guy you met on Tinder to your family home. Like that's a safety risk. I can't believe that you would even do that. Now I understand you're young. You're young. How old are you? You're 22. Sorry, you were 23. Okay, so you're not getting a lot of sympathy from me, but at the same time, you're probably a little bit naive. But that's not what you do with someone you met on Tinder. Invite them to come over to your parents' house. Like you do not know. That's a stranger. Okay, you do not act, guys. You do not know people that you meet online. especially not no one that you met chatting with on Tinder. That could be anybody. Anybody. Okay? And you don't know what those people are capable of. You have to be feeling people out, meeting them in public places before you start going into private places with them. And damn sure before you start inviting to your parents' house. You have no idea what this person will even say or do, and you're bringing them in front of your parents. I don't know, man. I don't know. Maybe I'm different. I just think that that's a safety issue. I don't think that, even aside from it being just a bad choice. My parents asked him questions because he was the first guy they have seen me with. You brought a guy that you just met on Tinder over to your house to meet your Oh God. Oh my God. We might be cooked as a society. We might be. During the questions, I learned he also struggled with anxiety and his father passed away. He lives with his mom, etc. I mean, that's great, but it just wrong place. My parents and siblings gave us privacy to talk so do your parents know that you're meeting this guy for the first time too? They don't feel like it's strange that they're meeting a guy the same time that you're meeting a guy for the first time? I don't get it. He pulls out 2 cans of Four Loko. What is this? I know what Four Loko is, so that's not what's confusing me. But like what is this? Is this like a teen drama? You guys are in your parents' basement drinking beers? Like he actually came to your house with 2 cans of Four Loko. Not no one. How old is this guy? 22. Yeah, sounds about right. 2 cans of Four Loko. That's all you're worth. 2 cans of Four Loko and you'll be busting it open. Let's see. I'm not into alcohol, but I've heard people say that drink should be banned. Yeah, because it's got caffeine. It's mixed in with the alcohol. It's not good for you. Anyways, after talking to him and drinking, he started touching, right? Oh, shocker. Chat, are you shocked? I'm shocked. I actually can't believe that the situation escalated to this point. Chat, actually, this is the most shocking story we've ever read on the Discord. I cannot believe that after he gave you a can of Four Loko that he started feeling you. I actually did not expect this story to take this type of unexpected twist. It's so shocking that he would start touching you. And eventually he wanted to have pineapples because it turned him on, and he showed me his private. Me being a virgin, I was shocked to see it in person. Nice. Sounds like a prototypical teen drama. What are you doing? You're 23. Maybe you're just naive. Okay, so maybe your age doesn't apply here because you're just naive. But what are you actually doing? You're in, I don't know if your parents' living room or your parents' basement. You're off the Four Loko, and this man pulls his wiener out. And I just don't know what are you doing? What if your parents walk in? His wiener's out and the fucking, oh, I can't even curse. Sorry, I'm getting so mad that I cursed. His wiener's out and the freaking Four Loko is on the counter. You guys have chugged a Four Loko, and oh my God, it's just so stupid. I was shocked to see it in person, so I did touch it. Oh, great. You're touching his wiener in your parents' house off the Four Loko. Sorry, you're touching a stranger's wiener that you met on Tinder off a can of Four Loko in your parents' house. What are you actually doing? What are you actually doing? This is, I'm trying not to be mean, but this is so dumb. Like, this is monumentally stupid. And I know that you're probably naive and you're new to all this stuff, but this is some levels of dumb that oh my God. I hope you've learned your lesson from this situation, but let's go on. Maybe it gets crazier. I was curious. Then he suggested we go to his car. So he pulled his wiener out. And then he said, let's go to my car after you touch my wiener. My wiener is hard. I told you, it's not any energy he's feeling from you. It's the energy he's feeling in his pants. I said no and wow, so you have a little bit of smartness. And he kept asking to go to his car. I wonder why he wants to go to his car. I said no again. Eventually, I ended up giving in. Great. Great. Just absolutely great. Absolutely magnificent. Just the perfect way to go about this. Just absolutely perfect. Textbook for you to go about it like this. We did it the first night. Nice. 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 Perfect. Did it the first night. Don't even know the guy. Met him on Tinder. Did it the first night. Right outside your parents' house to make it even more perfect. Nice. 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 Perfect. Perfect way to end it off. It's not even over, but just perfect. Textbook way to do it. You met him on Tinder. You're right outside of your parents' house in his dingy, dusty, dirty car. Probably got 300,000 miles on it. That he drove over with a couple of cans of warm Four Loko. Met your parents and pulled his wiener out and just slept with him the same night. Magnificent. Magnificent. Just perfect. He said he enjoyed it. I'm sure he did. I'm sure he did. And it was the best pineapples he had in a long time. I can guarantee you, if he brought 2 cans of warm Four Loko to your house, it was the only pineapples he's had in a long time. I can assure you. Okay? I told him I was a verge. He didn't believe me. Wow, is his wiener that small? You didn't even bleed? Wow, he's got a mini pee-pee, huh? He didn't believe me, and he then goes on to tell me he's done it with 22 girls already. Wow, I'm shocked. 22 girls and his pee-pee so small you don't even bleed? Interesting. Already, he asked if that was a deal breaker, and I said no. So you're considering building a relationship with this man. Nice. I know now I should have ran, being that it was just my first time. Okay. So you're telling, it didn't even sink into me. So your first time was in a car with a random stranger that you've never met before. I'm really taking that in. Like, that was how you spent your first time in a car with 300,000 miles on it. That's probably dusty and dingy, with a stranger that gave you some Four Locos. I'm not gonna laugh. It's not funny. After that, he came back over to my house and we did it again. The next day and another time. Okay, you need to be very clear what you mean by the next day, because I do remember you saying he lives an hour away. So did he drive back home and then drive back again the next day? Or did he sleep over? Please, I'm praying to God. Please tell me he did not sleep over at your parents' house. Please tell me he did not sleep over at your parents' house. After a while, he starts getting distant. Oh, Chad, did you ever see this coming? That a man, after he sleeps with you on the very first night after not even knowing your last name, would get distant. This is so shocking that this could ever happen to a human being. Getting distant and texting me, which was weird because he was seeing me consistently before. Oh, shocker. Being with me almost every day. Yeah, when he was penetrating you. Then he starts leaving me undelivered because he got bored of penetrating you. Throughout the day till nighttime, and when I tried to make plans, he would take a long time to say something. I tried to be patient, but I got frustrated. Magical. I blocked him. He chased me to social media to ask why I did. I was just fed up. I told him I was stressing. He was stressing me out, and that was it. I recently reached out to him. Why? Why did you do that? After you made the decision, why did you do that? In April to see how he was doing. What is the purpose? What is the purpose? He didn't text back. Wow, you're embarrassing yourself so badly. He didn't text back till a week later, asking to see me. It was 12 a.m. A week later, he texts you back and he says, I want to see you at 12 a.m. and said it was too late for him to travel. After trying to find a meeting date, we finally met. I came to his house. He asked me if I've done it with anyone else. I said one person, and he started looking sad a bit. Wow. So now you have two bodies. Another Tinder guy? But we ended up doing it again. No self-control. Just none. You have no self-control. I'm just going to be super real with you. He took me after to the movies and bought me a large popcorn. Oh, that's wow. So basically, he's spoiling you. Wow. So he slept with you, and in the process of you giving your mind, body, and soul to him, he's gotten you a warm can of Four Loko and a large popcorn with butter. Yay. You're being spoiled like a princess. Oh, and a pop. My apologies. Was it Dr. Pepper, Sprite? Which one? A large pop? Oh, large popcorn, a pop, and a warm Four Loko. You're living life here, girl. You living life. Which I ended up dropping when we left. Oh, so you didn't even get to drink the pop. Sad. Or the popcorn. Sad. While in the movies, he tried to get in my pants. Shocker. I shocked that man tried to get in your pants at the movies. I thought you guys were only there to watch a movie. Isn't that why you were there? I told him no. When we got into the car, he said he couldn't believe I rejected him, then kissed me. Oh, so basically he has no respect for you. So even when you say no, it doesn't matter to him. Anyways, I went home, my charger broke, so he gave me his, then he made sure I got home. What a kind gentleman. For him to drive you in his beat up 300,000 mile car, and drive you home and make sure you got home safely. This is such a gentleman. I let him know I did, then I was sleeping, and he started accusing me of giving him something. Wow. Would you look at that? Right? Wow. Because he had bumps on his area. Nice. So he's giving you four things now. He gave you a warm Four Loko. He gave you a large popcorn. He gave you a soda pop. And he gave you herps. Nice. That's perfect. You're getting princess treatment all around. It went for days of him indirectly accusing me. I told him it could be from the condom. He didn't listen. June comes. He finds out he's clean. We did it again. Nice. Why did you send me this message? I don't even think that you actually want to make a change. I don't understand why you sent me this message. It kind of seems like you're flexing the fact that you enjoy making horrible decisions. Is this a chat? Is this a secret flex? I think Lavik is secretly flexing on us that she enjoys making horrible decisions and she actually likes to rub it in people's faces how bad decisions she can make in like a span of a short period. I think that's actually what you're doing is you're flexing how horrible you can make decisions. Interesting. Interesting flex. Weird flex, but okay. He takes me to get food. I know I shouldn't have given in to pineapples, which resulted in another problem, which happened during pineapples, which is something natural he blamed me for. He demanded I apologize. What do you mean? What? What do you mean? He demanded I apologize or he'll stop talking to me. What is the thing that happened? Which I didn't, sorry, or he'll stop talking to me, which I didn't, and he just starts disrespecting me, calling me slow, the B word. Oh, so like, yeah, that's perfect in combination with everything else to pile on. Yeah, this is perfect. This is perfect. I ended up ignoring him and his calls. He's just going with how I have to, he's just going with how I have no right to be mad because he's mad and I ignored him that night. I confronted him a day or two later, and he said he was drunk and that wasn't him and he needs space to find himself, which I didn't reply because I was so hurt by him because he's so nice in person. He is? He's so nice to you in person? That's so great. I'm so happy for you, Lavik. Okay. That was June. I tried to text him this month, so still haven't learned your lesson. You're literally flexing, making horrible decisions. I love it. I love it. This is a great flex. But the phone is out of service, which left me feeling confused. So you couldn't even help yourself. He literally disconnected his line. Or maybe he had to pay for some fixes on his 300,000 mile beat up car and he couldn't afford his phone bill anymore. So they cut it off. They came to his house and they cut it off, right? So yeah. Basically, the only reason you're not talking to him is because his phone's been disconnected. Other than that, this whole thing is a huge flex of horrible decisions. I honestly don't know what advice to give you. I actually feel like you enjoyed making horrible decisions. I don't see any sort of like I learned from this. I don't see any sort of like I realized where I went wrong here. I don't see any sort of like, okay, so what should I do now or how should I avoid ever being in this situation ever again? It just honestly seems like you're well prepared to make the same horrible decisions over again. So as soon as that line gets reconnected or as soon as he messages you, you will immediately reply and you will immediately go back to doing everything that you were doing before. So why am I helping you? You don't even seem to have any desire to be helped. I'm confused. Like, guys, this is the end of the message, you know? There's no question. There's no like, how should I get rid of this guy? There's none of that. You're just telling me that you're confused because his phone is out of service. I don't know. Maybe his phone's out of service because he can't pay his bill. Maybe his phone is out of service because he doesn't want to talk to you. Either way, what does it matter? If he reaches out to you on Instagram or on Snapchat or wherever, on Tinder, you'll respond. You don't seem to have any desire to make a change. So why am I trying to give you advice and impressing on you to make a change? It's pointless. Why did you even send me this message? Honestly, no diss, but why did you send me this message? I honestly don't see anything here that you have any desire to make a change. You continue facing worse and worse red flags. I don't even want to call them red flags. Just he's making it clear to you. He doesn't see you anything more than something to utilize himself. It's like I don't even want to call it mutual masturbation. He's literally just using you for his own pleasure and nothing else. And you don't seem to have any problem with that. You keep going back. In fact, you're the one even initiating conversation once again, right? To get back in each other's lives. So it's not just him. So I'm honestly not going to help you because it doesn't seem like you asked for any help. And if you don't desire help from me or advice from me, I'm not just going to freely imprint on you what I think you should be doing with your life. Because I honestly seems like you're very happy with the way you've been living your life. And I don't see any sort of inclination here in your message that you desire to make a change. So keep doing what you're doing, Lavik. If this makes you happy and you're happy with the situation that you're in, because it seems like you are, and continue doing what you've been doing. I'm not here to tell you what the right and wrong way to live your life is, but so keep doing what you've been doing, Lavik. I have nothing to tell you. Okay. Next here we have, let's see. Elizabeth, should I run? Okay. Elizabeth says, hey, so I've been watching your TikToks and they seem to give really good advice, but I think I need more specific advice. So I've been talking to a guy for 4 months now, and we have only seen each other 3 times in person. How far does he live from you? Because we live in different cities. Okay, thank you for saying that. How far are the cities though? We used to FaceTime. He used to FaceTime me a lot, pen pal. Not very relevant, and he hasn't been calling for a month, but now we still talk. Pen pals, you do realize, guys, pen pals can actually have their own. Pen pals can actually have like their own like relationships. I hope you realize that, right? Like just because they're your pen pal and they're talking to you over the phone as if like they're in a relationship with you, that doesn't necessarily mean that you're the only person in their life. That's part of the problem with pen pals. And he hasn't been calling for a month now, but we still talk. He said he likes me several times. Recently, he moved to another house and I asked him why. He said problems. And he randomly texted me the other day, sorry if I've done something wrong to you. At night, since I was sleeping, I answered the next day saying, why'd you say that out of the blue? He answered because he was in a bad moment. This is going to get me angry. Every time we hang out in person, he's very affectionate. The first time we hung out, he made me meet his dad and dad's girlfriend. What? This is weird. So I thought it was going good, but on text sometimes he takes time to answer. He has a life, I know, and I'm fine with that. And lately he disappears from 9 p.m. until the next day. I mean, it's nighttime, okay, but okay. So I noticed and said for the first time, why are you doing weird stuff? I've noticed we haven't called or met up in a while. He said, I'm having problems right now. Okay, this is, okay. Elizabeth, this is part of the things, okay, you have to start thinking about what you want for yourself. So if you know that he's not showing you what you need in a relationship, then you have to start saying, okay, well then you're done. Why are you at like, okay, even if let's say for the sake of argument, he's really having problems and his problems are so deep and so intense that he literally cannot be able to message you back or call you or whatever with you, then you need to acknowledge that this guy is not even ready to be in a relationship with you. And if he ever gets ready, then he can come back to you. But in the meantime of him not being ready, there's no reason why you should be sitting here waiting for him or begging for him to be ready or begging for him to show you that he's ready. So like, this is kind of a waste of your time now because he's showing you that he's not in a position to actually date you. I guess because the house thingy that I said earlier, and I can't even with myself right now. I can't with other people. That's what he said, I guess. So I don't know what to do with him because I don't know if to take it as I can't right now or I don't want nothing to do with you. See, this is the problem. You're worried about if he likes you or if he is ready to be with you. You should be thinking about, am I ready to be with you? Do I want someone like you? And honestly, it seems like the answer to your question is no. So if that's the case, don't waste your time on the guy. Stop thinking about your relationships as if you're here to get the guy to like you. And if the guy doesn't like you, then your life is horrible and ruined. And all you need to be doing is figuring out how to get the guy to like you more. What you need to be doing is evaluating if that guy is even the guy you want to be investing your time and energy into. Okay. And that will drastically change how much of your time and energy you give to people who clearly aren't ready to be in a relationship, because there's nothing for you're sitting around asking me if you should wait when I'm telling you, you shouldn't be waiting for a damn thing. And you should be evaluating other people to see if you even want to be with them, not waiting on them. I want to say this because I genuinely like him. Do you? Or do you like company? Okay. Let's go on. But I need some advice on what to do with him. Also, if so, how do I get his attention back? Do nothing. As to FaceTiming and meeting up, sorry, I'm not fluent in English. The number one thing you always need to be doing is nothing. And anytime you want a guy to be more mesmerized by you, notice you, take you out, take you on dates, do nothing. Do way less than you've been doing. The moment you start thinking, how do I get his attention? That is the exact moment that you're going to put your maid outfit on. You're going to get on your hands and knees and you're going to start scrubbing the floor. And you're going to beg him to notice how squeaky clean you can scrub the floor in your maid outfit because you want him so badly to notice you and pick you. He will never pick you when you're in a state like that, and he will always overlook you for the girl who's paying him no mind. Do not ever do that. Ever. What you need to do in this situation is do absolutely nothing. Don't text him, don't call him, don't nothing to him. In fact, when he does text and call you, ignore him. Let him get desperate, and then in his desperation, start saying things like, I need to see you. I want to spend time with you. I want to take you out on a date. Then is when you should, and only then is when you should be entertaining him when he gets desperate. Because right now he's not desperate. In fact, right now you seem a lot like a pest in his ear that he barely has enough time to acknowledge your existence. And so don't be thinking about how to get his attention back. Be thinking about how you can take back the energy you've been giving to him and invest it back into yourself. Okay. Next we have here, let's see. Okay. Next we have signs he's happy, but hiding it. Hey, Tomisin, can you give us your take on this topic? What's the topic? You didn't say anything else. I don't see anything else. Seems like you said something, but you must have deleted it. Okay. So I don't know. You're gonna have to resend your question. Doesn't seem like it's here. Okay. And next we have here. Let's see. Z-Babe. Z-Babe says, I'm not ready. Okay. Okay. I'm a 24-year-old female with a 30-year-old man. We've known each other for about 3 years and we met at work. I didn't want to date at first because I was actively leaving an abusive relationship and he wasn't my type as far as looks. He respected this boundary and we opt for friends. We would eat lunch together every day and vent to each other about life. Okay. I never went into detail about how my ex treated me. I was just thinking about that. After getting to know him more, I realized I grew to like him a lot. So after 2 months, when he asked me on a date, I gladly accepted. Okay. After the 5th date, we had pineapples. 1 week later, I found out I was 5 weeks pregnant with my ex's child. Oh my God. Quite a mess. So I'm sure there was probably a little bit of confusion there because 1 week later, you found out you were pregnant with your ex's child. He was probably thinking, was it mine? Is it, who is it? After telling him, he decided to continue dating me. Oh my God, really? I'm not like, no diss to you, but I'm honestly, I'm well shocked that, that is, wow. Not that you're a bad person, but I just don't think that that was a good decision on his part because you have so much to figure out, that I don't know if he would be ready for that, but his choice anyways. At this time, my ex was in prison. Tell me you don't know how to pick them without telling me you don't know how to pick them. Due to abuse. Through my pregnancy, he was there as if it was his child. So good man you found. He'd go to a doctor's appointment with me, handle my bills, and was there doing labor, even cutting the umbilical cord. My only problem is we never left the dating title. I mean, how long was this going on? It can't be more than 9 months, obviously, or else the baby would, well, sorry. He cut the umbilical cord, so this is about 9 months that you're saying no dating title. There's a lot to figure out more than just the dating title, I'll say that. He would tell me we were dating, but wasn't ready for a relationship. You know, okay, I'm going to cut him a bit of slack. I'm going to cut him a little bit of slack. There is so much intricacies to figure out and so many moving parts to the situation that you just described here that I don't know it, like, it might not necessarily just be because he doesn't want to commit to you. I mean, he came to your doctor's appointment and cut the damn umbilical cord. So clearly there's some investment that he has in you. But there's also a whole bunch of moving parts in your relationship that need to be figured out and ironed out before you guys really get a better understanding of what this is supposed to be. You understand what I'm saying? Like I need both things to be acknowledged. This is a lot, for someone to be doing for you. So clearly he does care, but also understand him not addressing the dating title might not necessarily be a function of him not wanting to be with you. It might be more of a function of how much there is to still figure out, not just of you in your life, in your child's life, in your ex's life, in how your ex is going to play a part in your child's life. Like so many moving parts that most of which he has no control over. Okay. So I put up with hoping for a change for a while. It made me insecure and we eventually broke up. Okay. We went no contact for a year. I did try to reach out about 3 times, being desperate, and each time he ignored. It's not a crime. I gave up and moved on. He messaged me the day before New Year's, apologizing for everything and saying he would like to see my son. Okay, kind of a strange response. I stupidly allowed him over. I had been drinking. What? Why do you think that was a good idea, though? I had been drinking and was not thinking straight. Wait, so was this the same day? Is that why? Maybe you weren't expecting him? We spent New Year's together, talking about everything, and yes, we had pineapples. I know. Hmm. Uh, he again treated me like we were together. Someone said, I think that this guy thinks this is. No, she said earlier that he treated it like it's his own. So he knew. I mean, based on what I think, based on what I'm hearing, sounds like he knew. He again treated me like we were together. He splurged on my son. He really loves your son. He really loves your son. And kudos to him because the way he cares about for your son, I don't know many men that would be that generous to a child that wasn't their own. Take me on dates every weekend. This is great. Pay my bills. This is awesome. Just the perfect partner. Okay, so where does this go wrong? After finding your channel, I decided to set this boundary. I told him if he wants to continue seeing me, we have to be in a relationship or I'm leaving. Okay, that's fair. Um, Fair. You know what? Fair. He said he wants to be with me, but isn't ready for that title. So now you have a decision to make. Says he would have to be in a certain position financially to take care of us. Part 2. He's kind of already doing that in an indirect way. I don't know. This is tough. Let's go part 2. I didn't give him a response, and we haven't spoken in 4 months. While he did reach out 3 weeks ago and tell me he's been thinking about everything and he would like to make it work with me, but is still working on finances and is trying to figure out how to balance that along with the relationship. I mean, fair. You know what? I'll say fair just because he's not just taking on you, he's also taking on your child as well. So like he's not just going from to having one responsibility, he now has 2 responsibilities that he has to be able to manage alongside himself. Okay? So that's a large jump. That could be what's making him a little bit hesitant. I'm just speaking from what could possibly be the reason why. And is trying to figure out how to balance that along with the relationship. Clearly there's intention here though, and that he still isn't ready. I told him I stood on what I said and I will not wait on him. Good. I'm glad you said that. The only reason we had this conversation is because he called me like 5 times back to back. So I was expecting him to say what I wanted to hear. He also asked me if I'm seeing anyone. I just replied with not yet. I told him we had nothing else to discuss and we haven't spoke since. My question is, do you think he's using his finances as an excuse to not have commitment? What should I do? Update. He's been sending me flowers and gift baskets to my door with love notes for a couple of days, saying he loves me and can't see himself with anyone but me. You must have got that good. Something about you he just can't get enough of. And he'd love to be a father to my son. Wow. That man actually do care. He really do care. I won't lie to you. I will not lie to you. No man who's just trying to play around will do this type of stuff. Says he's been working on buying a home to move us in to move us in out of state. I have not and will not reach out to acknowledge them. He technically never said in the notes he's ready or acknowledged a relationship side. Okay, so Z-Babe, Z-Babe, sorry. I'm glad you did this and went about it like this because I think you're going about it the perfect way. So basically what's happening here is this is the perfect example of let him cook. The longer time goes on, he is coming to his own realization how badly he wants this. So actually, the less you do literally nothing, do less than nothing, because letting him cook is slowly but surely helping him come to his own realization of how much he wants to make this work and how badly and desperately he wants to be with you. And I can tell because as time is going on, you're giving every update that you give, then he's taking more escalation to saying, okay, no, he went from I'm not sure to no, I do want to be with you, but finances to no, I really want to be a father to your son and I really want to be your husband. I'm just getting this figured out right now. So you can see that as time is going on, his own anxiety is increasing. So you continue to not ease his anxiety by making him feel like he can come back into your life halfway. What's going to happen is as he cooks, right, as the situation develops, he's going to say to himself, F it. I'm going to make this happen. Regardless of what my situation is right now, regardless of whatever it is, I need to make this happen because I want to be with her so badly and I want to be a father to this child so badly. And because he comes to that realization, he will eventually come to you and say, I'm ready now. You don't have to ask me no questions. We don't have to figure anything out. I'm ready and I'm ready to be here 100%. And I honestly think the way that you get this result is by doing absolutely nothing. He's already cooking. Keep letting him cook. Like you already did, don't reach out. Don't acknowledge his messages until he comes to you saying that he's ready and says, yo, everything's set up. We're going to be in a relationship. Don't answer anything. Don't respond to anything. Don't give him any access to you or your child or your child or your child until he comes to you ready. And I promise you, based on how things are going right now, I promise you, if you just let this situation cook, I can assure you he will be ready and everything that you were asking for, he will give it to you. It's almost like a negotiation. You know, when you're negotiating back and forth and then one side of the negotiation stands their ground and says, look, we're not budging anymore on anything. It's either take it or leave it. And then the other side says, oh, I want this so bad. Okay, I agree to your terms, right? And they don't bother negotiating anymore. It's kind of like that. You literally have to draw a line in the sand and say, it's either this or nothing. If you want access to me and you want to build with me and you love my son and you want to be with me, you either do this or you get none of me. And then the decision becomes his. And clearly, as time is going on, he's becoming in agonizing pain, right? He's growing in agonizing pain and he wants to be with you. And I can assure you this is going to happen sooner than you even can imagine. Okay. Even if he doesn't get the house or the finances perfectly straight, I can assure you his anxiety is building. And eventually he's going to break, meaning that he's going to say, I'm just ready to commit to you 100%, which is good. You're doing a good thing. And I'll be happy to hear when that happens. Please send a message into the Discord when that finally happens. Okay. So that is the show for today. For those of you who didn't get a chance to send in your message, please, if you're on TikTok, go over to the link in my bio where you can send your message in. Go over to the link in my bio, and then you can click the Discord link and go into the relationship advice section and ask your questions. If you're on TikTok, you can just go down into the link in the description where you can ask your question as well. For those of you who didn't get your question answered on today's show, don't worry. Plenty of shows where I answer questions every single show, and you will get your question answered in order of first come, first serve. Okay, so just remember that. And so for those of you who are wanting to follow me on Instagram because you love me so much, you want to see everything I'm doing 24/7 all the time, my Instagram is there on the top left corner for those of you on TikTok. And for those of you on YouTube, it's on the bottom right corner. You can scroll through my page, see everything I've been doing since I ever showed up here in front of you today. and get a sense of me holistically, okay, as the whole human being. And for those of you who are on TikTok and want to rewatch this live in its entirety because you missed parts or you just love some parts so much you would love to be able to rewind it, you can always find this entire live stream along with every live show that I've ever done in the past on my YouTube page, where you can go on my YouTube page and when you go in the live section, just type my name in or copy and paste it. You'll be able to find my page. If you go in the live section, you'll find this live and all the other ones with the TikTok and the YouTube live chat embedded in the video, where you can follow along with all the conversation as I'm speaking. So you'll never miss out. So those of you who are new on the TikTok, you'll be able to see your name and your profile picture on the TikTok chat when you watch it on the screen on YouTube. So you won't miss a beat. It's awesome. It's a great experience. Okay. I'm here every day, Monday to Friday. So Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Okay. So you have to figure out what time that is in your time zone, because it's not going to be the same time when it's 4 p.m. for me that it is for you if you're in a different time zone. So 4 p.m. Eastern Time, Monday to Friday, I am here. So I will be back again tomorrow at exactly 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Okay. Until then, arrivederci, au revoir, hasta la vista, goodbye for now. And I will see you tomorrow right at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I love you so much. Have a great rest of your day or night or morning. Okay?